All right, welcome to Talkin Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do a video on the upcoming earnings this week. I also want to take a look at the calendar for the rest of the year, and I want to talk about what I think is a relief rally that is going to come between now and the end of the year. So just go through a lot of stuff. I want to prep everybody for this week in particular because this is earnings week. So if you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it helps the channel out a lot, and I really appreciate it. You can also join the channel and become a member by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. If you don't see a join button, you're probably using an Apple product. There'll be a link below that you can click to join the channel. So we have a bunch of extra content for members only. In addition to that, once a week on every Tuesday after the market closes, we have a members only live stream. And this week in particular, Tuesday after the market closes is going to be a big day. Okay, so that leads me right into earnings. Let me take a look at this week's earnings schedule. For those of you not familiar with this, you might want to just take a screenshot of this. These are all the most highly anticipated earning reports for the week. And even within this, there's a few that stand out as monsters. To put it in perspective, the four largest companies in the US are all reporting their earnings this week. And that's why I call this earnings week, despite the fact that obviously we had some earnings reports last week. We will continue to have earnings reports on next week and beyond. So even if you're not investing in any of these companies, it's very important to understand when these earnings are because they do impact the market. Particularly the big four, the four biggest companies in the market, they can drag the market down or run it up depending on what they have to say. So we just don't need one of the big guys coming out and saying that bad things are ahead. If they do that, then the relief rally that I'm looking for is at least going to be delayed, if not destroyed. Let's go through some of the big companies that are going to report this week. So Monday's not a very big day. Monday we have Discover. We do have a bunch of other big companies, but these are not the giants. Discover is part of the Discover, Visa, and MasterCard. They will all report this week. So they are a reflection definitely on the overall economy. So it's going to be important to see what those three companies have to say. Particularly Visa is the biggest one out of all of those. So Tuesday is when things really heat up. So you'll have all day Monday and all day Tuesday to trade. However, Tuesday, when the market closes, we are going to get earnings from Microsoft and Alphabet, which is Google. That is the second largest company in the United States and the third largest company in the United States. Those two earnings reports are critical. Microsoft is usually clockwork, so we do not expect any surprises from them. And again, I'm setting the bar low. That's all I'm looking for. No surprises to the downside. We do not need giant beats. We do not need people adjusting their forecast up for the fourth quarter. What we want to see is the third quarter earnings somewhere near where they were expected. And if they miss by a little bit, you may see a gigantic knee-jerk reaction, but be patient because 24 to 48 hours later, you may see a reversal of that. Retail investors tend to have a giant overreaction immediately after earnings are announced, particularly on small beats or small misses. So you're going to want to wait and see for this news to sink in and take a look at really what happened in these earnings reports. So again, I'm not expecting a lot of Microsoft to deliver any bad news. I'm not expecting Alphabet, which is Google, to deliver any bad news, but we will see. In addition to that, you have Visa reporting after hours. That is 3 of the 10 biggest companies in the United States all reporting after hours on Tuesday. Then if you go to Wednesday, after hours, we have Meta, which is Facebook. So Facebook is now a much smaller market cap than it used to be. However, it is still one of the top 15 market cap companies in the United States. So it is still a big company, and what happens to them does affect the market. They are very much a play on the consumer and on advertising. So that is one of the things that we want to see. Snap reported earnings last week, and it was an absolute disaster. Their earnings report was actually just fine. They beat on earnings. They missed by revenue. They had some gloomy things to say about the fourth quarter, and their stock crashed 28% on Friday. So that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid that gloomy talk about the fourth quarter. So we'll be looking at Meta in particular to make sure they don't have bad things to say. Then on Thursday, we have another monster day after hours. So after the bell closes on Thursday, Apple, which is the biggest company in the United States, they will report earnings. So we've heard mixed signals on this. I am not expecting Apple to miss. They rarely miss. The key is going to be fourth quarter guidance again, so we want to make sure they don't have anything awful to say about the fourth quarter. I find it hard to believe that they will. I do think we'll be okay with Apple, but obviously only time will tell. Amazon is the fourth largest company in the United States, so this will also have a big impact. This is also Thursday after the bell closes. So pretty much simultaneously with Apple reporting, we're going to get Amazon reporting. And that is going to be a much more interesting report because this is definitely a play on the consumer. Amazon has several portions of their business, but at least two of them are highly consumer driven. So we're going to get a pretty good read on where the consumer is at. Now, last week we had a few companies say good things about the consumers. A few of the big banks felt that the consumers were still holding strong, they were still spending. So we want to see some reiteration of that in these earnings reports this week. Then on Friday before the market opens, so essentially after the market closes on Thursday and before it opens on Friday, you're going to get not only Facebook and Amazon, but you're going to get ExxonMobil, which I think is the 9th largest stock in the market, as well as Chevron, which is like 13 or 14. So those are two big stocks. I can't see any news coming out of those reports that will be negative to the market on a long-term basis. There is one more worth mentioning. Intel reports also Thursday after the bell. Intel is part of the computer chip and semiconductor industry, and that industry has been getting absolutely destroyed this quarter. So Intel is at multiple year lows right now, so it will be interesting to see how their quarterly report comes out and what they have to say about the fourth quarter. So that's another one that I'm keeping my eye on. If one of these companies, particularly the big four, if they have a forecast that is not good for the fourth quarter, if they have gloomy things to say about what's to come, then that could potentially ruin this relief rally that I've been talking about really for almost the last month. I think we are due for this rally sometime between now and the end of the year. If we can get through this week, this is pretty much last call for the relief rally. And we're going to look at the calendar for the rest of the year, and I'm going to show you why I think that. So this is a crucial week to get through. We picked up some momentum last week. We bottomed out really on the CPI numbers in the middle of October. I think it was October 13th, and we have been slightly rallying from there. So I'm hoping that will continue, and I'd like to see a rally that rivals that rally we got in July and the first half of August of 2022. That was a nice rally. I just want to take a quick look at the calendar for the rest of the year because there's an awful lot going on, but there is one lull in the middle, and I think that's our shot at a nice little run-up. Okay, so this is the month of October. It's almost over. This week right here is the earnings that we just looked at. So you can see there's all kinds of activity going on this week. So this is a week I just feel like we need to get through. If we finish higher at the end of this week than we started, I will be happy, and I think the relief rally will be on the way. On November 2nd, we're going to get the Fed raising interest rates. If the Fed comes out and does what we think they're going to do, I don't think this should put a dent in the rally. So the Fed is going to raise rates 75 basis points. I think that's basically 100% chance of that. You know, there's not 100% chance of anything, but that is the absolute most likely case scenario. And then we're going to get some language regarding December. They're going to hint towards leaning towards potentially another 3/4 of a point. So we have to absorb that little blow because, again, the market's about 50-50 on that. On the 8th, which is Tuesday, we have the elections in the United States. So I have no idea how that's going to impact the market. Again, this is just another thing on the calendar that I feel like we need to get through. If we can get through these next 3 weeks and we end up higher than we are right now, then I think we have about 4 weeks where not so much is happening and we could have a nice holiday season rally. So that is my plan for the rest of the year. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens. And then Thursday the 10th is CPI data. So we're going to get another CPI report, and that's another one that can have a huge ramification on what the market does. And that is mainly because if we have a surprise and it's worse than expected, then that's really going to lock in the fact that in that December Fed meeting, they're going to do another 75 basis point rate hike. I think that's going to happen regardless, but obviously the CPI is one of the things that moves data. CPI in October is where the market bottomed out. It basically crashed on that day. It flash crashed and recovered. So from the low on the CPI data on October 13th until October 21st, which was 2 weeks later, the market was up 8%. So to me, I think this is the beginning of that relief rally I'm talking about. What I am hoping is we can run all the way back up to where we were in August. That would be a potential 20% rally from now until the end of the year. That is expecting a lot. We may not get all of that. We're already up 8%. We'll see if we can get all the way back to where we were in the August rally. But even if we get halfway back there, that will altogether be potentially a 20% run up in the market from the lows of October to the end of the year, and that would be a nice relief rally. A 20% relief rally in these equity markets is good. For those of you who follow the channel on Bitcoin, I'm looking for Bitcoin to get back to that $25,000 mark that it hit in August. I'm looking for this relief rally, but I just showed you a bunch of dates on the calendar that represent very big bumps in the road. So we need to basically get through all of those in order to have this nice holiday rally and have a good end to what was not a good year. We can all agree 2022, I think we'll be happy when that is in the rearview mirror. I'm not exactly sure. So far, people are anticipating a not so good 2023 as well, particularly the first and second quarter. So we'll have to see when we get there. In the meantime, I'd like to have this relief rally, and these are the steps I think it's going to take in order for that to happen. So again, take a snapshot of that earnings summary that I had at the beginning of the video, and you might want to keep your eye on that all week. That is going to dictate the market's activity this week, barring some other geopolitical event that supersedes all of that. So hopefully this helps everybody prepare a little bit for the week to come and the month to come and really the rest of the year to come. Remember, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you guys whether to buy or sell stocks. I'm hoping for a relief rally, but I don't have a crystal ball, so we'll see what happens. If you made it this far, remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.